Welcome to a dose of deeper contemplation. We have cultivated this self-healing practice as we navigate the many aspects of modern life with the desire to be a better human. As a psychic medium, these conversations are channeled, so let's take a walk together and talk it out. This contemplation is coming forward about the wisdom of the wardrobe and in a certain recognition that if you have a closet full of clothes that you don't wear but hold on to, in many ways it's very symbolic or could be seen as symbolic and examined, self-examination. What are you really holding on to? What version of yourself are you holding on to? In so many ways that makes sense. What version that is represented in the closet, in the wardrobe, what are the versions of yourself represented? Now, interesting enough, having spent over a decade analyzing wardrobes with folks as a professional organizer, closets being quite the hot topic for those seeking a professional organizer. There's such a spectrum of reasons as to why folks don't wear the clothes that they have in their closet or in their drawers, but yet continue to hold on to them. One classic example and story is, those are the skinny jeans. Those were the jeans from high school. And another side of that is, well, those are the fat jeans. Now, of course, we're speaking in this whole narrative of duality, fat, skinny, that somehow applies a judgment and a standard, we call them beauty standards, if you will, to size, to figure, to shape. And in these particular conversations, these folks were labeling themselves. Now, what's interesting, and what we like to point out to our clients, is that what happens on a, we'll call it subconscious level, energetic level, some folks recognize it or not, depending on a self-awareness. But every time you look at that pair of pants that you no longer fit in, this version of you no longer fits in for whatever reason, and every time you look at those pants, you are essentially not embodying and honoring your present version. What happens when we become present with this version without any distractions? And what we're saying is those fat pants or skinny pants, that's a distraction. That's an energetic hit that we like to say. It's an energetic hit. It's a frequency, it's a thought that is not of self-acceptance, that is anticipating and possessing these pants and anticipation that you will be a different version one day. And that we have been truly immersed in a narrative that is something we should even think about. A striving to be different versus allowing growth. We certainly have had our share of that. Wanting something to be different about ourselves, trying to pursue it, trying to push it. Part of that frequency, though, is a rejection of who we are in that moment and why we want to be different. In so many interesting ways, that's opposing frequencies, which kind of just leaves you stagnant. What's interesting is another approach that's just dropping in. What if we absolutely accepted and allowed a willing, joyful participant of our personal growth and evolution as it comes in the present, showing up for our growth without resistance, being willing to do it, even when it feels so challenging to let go of those skinny or fat pants. Even when it feels so challenging to let go of that relationship that you don't feel good in. Even if it feels challenging to let go of that job that you don't feel you're growing in. For us, what's interesting is, okay, let's have that recognition and then put energy towards it, which is different than going out and doing and forcing and doing and pursuing. Instead, inviting inspired action to take place throughout our day, our time, our energy. Inviting presence, co-creating, inviting the opportunities for our growth, receiving the visions, acknowledging them, and then inviting, being willing seems like a totally different vibe than wanting to change something about ourselves in a rejection of self in some way, and then pushing and pursuing and pushing and pursuing. It doesn't mean actionless in just some omnious receptive mode, but it can mean that the actions are different. For us, that could look like some days the action is to just sit in magic and cast, sit and rest in self-care, being in that ritual. That's the doing. Cultivating the energy, listening, downloading the visions, saying yes and willing, and what shall we do next in order for this vision to come into manifestation. So much of manifesting is knowing yourself, knowing who you really, really are. Becoming present with this version in reflection of all that has accumulated and learned and grown and healed along the way to this version that wears a certain size of pants that is very comfortable, and feel good about that, and don't need to be reminded when you walk into your closet of anything but that. It would be interesting to see. Sometimes we say, let's plant the seed. We're going to plant the seed. We're going to offer perhaps a little exercise. Even if you're still not ready to get rid of those pants that you know you do not fit in, maybe will never fit in again. Maybe you don't want to donate them for someone else to use in the world who could use them. But interesting to see if you simply removed those pants from your day-to-day experience by having them in your closet. Just removing them, storing them, tucking them away somewhere, and not putting yourself through any process, like picking out something to wear where you're like, you don't fit in that. How does that make you feel about yourself in that moment? Even if it's for a nanosecond, they add up. That's an energy that adds up, an emotion connected to thoughts. So the invitation is to just simply remove those items from the energetic field of your day-to-day closet visit. See how you feel. See what happens. And in fact, let's use some activation where you also walk into your closet and you just know and feel and love and accept who you are in this present moment. And that person picks out an outfit that they feel good in as an expression of style, which is art in some way, whatever way that works, but that it feels like you are walking art because you are. Thank you for being in this contemplation with us. This is Deep Dose, and we are Eden.